Yes, sirree. It's a Tommy Maroon Sports Show, episode number 315. Yes, sirree. We're going to have fun. Like how I did that, folks? Well, hopefully you like how I did the sports stuff, because we got to talk about those Cleveland Cavaliers who are in the postseason. Yes, sirree. It doesn't get any better than postseason action, playoff action. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference quarterfinals wound up being a 13-point win for the Cavs. In both games, the Cavs were wearing their throwbacks from the 2000s, their navy blue, which I think they should go back to permanently. But I'm pretty sure we all know that by now. But what you didn't know, well, you probably also knew this, was that both games were on streaming services. Amazon Prime, Peacock, and now Amazon Prime tonight. Yeah, I can't watch the games in that case. Yep, the NBA can't make enough money, can they? No, they can't. Anyways, in Game 1, the Cavs won 116-113, as mentioned. And as mentioned, you see those 2000s throwbacks. Donovan Mitchell, 32 points. James Harden, 22 points and 10 assists. We also saw Max Strus have 24 points. All those three dudes had 4 threes apiece. How about that? 4 threes apiece. While we're on the topic of 24 points, R.J. Barrett had 24. Scotty Barnes had 21. Also, I'd just like to mention that you can't watch the Cavs in the playoffs on the local TV networks, as the NBA changes it this year for some odd reason. Probably because the NBA needs to make more money in that case. Because as we all know, the NBA doesn't make that much money, which is why you see a bunch of sponsors and all that crazy stuff. Hope you know I'm being sarcastic. The NBA makes hundreds of millions, maybe billions, because it's a popular sport and fun sport. But the NBA and Adam Silver are greedy. Cavs made half their threes, shooting 16 for 32. Raptors had 5 more assists. And the Cavs won despite not even having a single block shot out there. Game 2 wound up being another Cleveland Cavalier winner. Yes, sirree. 115-105. Donovan Mitchell, 30.7 rebounds. James Harden, 28.7. Mobley, 25. Scotty Barnes had 26. R.J. Barrett had 22. You talk about lopsided affair, ladies and gentlemen. The Raptors were never winning during that game. And the Cavs had fewer rebounds and fewer assists and shot just a dismal 63.6 from the free throw line. But yeah, tonight is going to be the who do you call them? Cleveland Cavaliers against the rough and tough Toronto Raptors once again. But this time in Canada, eh? Who would have thunk it? Looking, there are only 2 series or other series right now besides the Cavs Raptors to have a 2-game-to-none lead. The other 2 being Oklahoma City having a 2-game-to-none lead over Phoenix, and Los Angeles, the Lakers, 2-game-to-none lead over the Rockets. But yeah, looking at everything right now, it's been good. It was a 1-1 tie in everything else, whether it's Detroit, Orlando, Boston, Philadelphia, New York, Atlanta, San Antonio, Portland, where Wemby had a concussion, for heaven's sake, and Denver, Minnesota. So there is that. Where will the Cavs go next round if they make it? I mean, so far things are going pretty swimmingly. Let me check. I know Game 3 is on not ESPN, but rather Prime Video. Game 4 is on ESPN. Thank God. I couldn't stand another minute of those Prime broadcasts where it was glitching out and having some technical difficulties. Yep, that streaming service is for you, ladies and gentlemen. Always good. Am I right or am I right? I'm right. And you know, I'm also right about the Cleveland Guardians doing their thing. Yep, they're doing a good job thus far this year. Team pitching stats. Let's look at them. The team ERA sits at 4 on the dot. 10 shutouts thus far this year. None of them complete games, which drives me absolutely crazy because, as you know, I love me some complete games. But you never see complete games anymore. And I don't know why. It really irritates me. But what doesn't irritate me is that they're second in the league in strikeouts, 244. They've thrown 229 in a third total innings, 102 earned runs, higher when it comes to the run total, of course. 94 walks, a 1.26 whip, and a 230 average. So, yeah, there is that. You know what there also is? There's also the series recaps, including this series right here. Cleveland, Baltimore. We almost saw history in the first game. Cleveland won 3-1 in the series. We almost saw history as you see Jose Ramirez doing Jose Ramirez things, which is hit a home run. He was American League Player of the Week, as you might expect out of a very talented man like Jose Ramirez. But anyways, Parker Messick, 3 outs away from a no-hitter before giving up a single on the first pitch in the ninth. And then he gave up a 2-run shot, and Stephen Vogt's like, I've seen enough, you're done. But it was still a phenomenal outing for Mr. Messick. Let me assure you, it was really unbelievable. Did his job incredibly. Wow. And then game 2, Daniel Schneemann, the utility man who does it all, had a grand slam on a game that I could finally watch because it was on Channel 3, thank God. Yep, about time. Am I right, folks? Anyways, Jeremiah Jackson had the last laugh for the Orioles with a 3-run bomb that day. Speaking of 3-run bombs, Brian Rocchio, 3-run bomb the next day, and Gavin Williams punched out 11 players. Yep, 11 batters. That is pretty impressive. Jose Ramirez had 2 home runs in Game 4, and Brian Rocchio 3 RBIs in Game 4. But yeah, 2 home runs for Jose Ramirez. How about Mr. Ramirez? That guy is just really good at his job, wouldn't you say? But you know what's tough? Losing a 3-game stand to the Astros 2-3. Oh, boy, that's never fun. That is never fun in my opinion. Because Houston kind of sucks this year. Oh, that's frustrating. Yep, it sure is. But let's look at what happened. Game 1, we saw Isaac Paredes hit 2 home runs. And Brian Rocchio did have 3 hits in Game 1, but it was not enough. I repeat, not enough. Chase the water, part of an explosion in the 8th inning. A 3-run triple. I repeat, a 3-run triple in Game 1. Now, I was not watching this live because I was announcing Highland girls lacrosse. We were taking on the Copley Indians and won 13-10 with 4:19 left in the game, and then it ended. There's Gavin Williams a year ago, almost having a no-hitter until he lost it in the ninth. I think it was Juan Soto. Yep, it was Juan Soto. But anyways, Manzo had 2 RBIs in Game 2. And in Game 3, Yordan Alvarez had a 2-run bomb. And what was the rest of the scoring that day? No scoring, actually. It was just Yordan Alvarez hitting a 2-run bomb, and nothing else happened. Chase Dwyer did have 2 hits. As you see, the no-hitter die right there. West Cleveland no-hitter, May 15th, 1981 still. When Len Barker did it against the Toronto Blue Jays. While we're on the topic of Toronto Blue Jays, Cleveland's going to Canada. Cleveland's going to Canada this weekend to take on the Toronto Blue Jays. Of course, who else?
Teams.
Yes, both teams.
Going to Canada.
Yes. And then after that, it will be Tampa Bay. And then the day off. And then the Oakland Athletics. It still drives me nuts that they're not in Oakland. The city of Oakland did nothing wrong. But I'm pretty sure we all know that by now. We'll talk about that once we see the good old Guardians take on Oakland. Let's look at the standings, shall we? Yes, we shall. Now, the Guardians are 14-12, which is all right. But, hey, it's up top the league. Or not league, but division. Half a game better than the Detroit Tigers. We're heavy favorites to win the division. I mean, never count out those Guardians. They're always a sleeper pick. But the Guardians held a half-game lead over the Tigers and a 1-game lead over the Twins, a 4-game lead over the White Sox. And you talk about frustration out there. You talk about it. The Royals are 8-17, 5.5 back. They've lost 9 of their last 10. Houston's struggling. Seattle's struggling. Who else is struggling? You might be wondering, oh yeah, I forgot about that. The Dodgers had a no-hit bid heading into the bottom of the ninth last year and then lost it. There's not been a no-hitter since August 2nd, 2024, by the way, when Blake Snell did. This is one of the longest no-hit droughts in Major League Baseball history, at least in the modern era of baseball. Really crazy to think about. We have not seen a no-hitter in about a year and a half. 2025 was the first year in 20 years without a no-hitter. 2005 was last year without a no-hitter until last year. But anyways, could be worse, folks. You could be a Phillies fan. They've dropped 8 straight. They're 8-16. Could be even worse than that. You could be a Mets fan. They lost 12 straight before mercifully winning yesterday. 3-2. It looked like they were going to lose that game for a minute. It was 2s on the board before the Mets were like, finally, we got to get something going, and they did get something going. Could be a Red Sox fan, folks. Red Sox are 9-15. They're doing awful right now. They're dead last in the American League East. But looking at stats, who leads the league in stolen bases, you might be wondering, oh, I don't know, a man named Jose Ramirez. 11 stolen bases. He is 2 swipes away from 300. He is 9 swipes. Well, God, I showed 6 when I meant 9 swipes away. Or 9 long balls away from 300 home runs. How about that? Not too shabby for the 5'8" switch hitting shortstop. Am I right, folks? I think I'm always right. And when I say I think I'm always right, I know I'm always right. But we got so much cool stuff going on. High school sports are going on. 120 days, by the way, till the Walsh football game. Really week 1 of high school football. But today I am dressed up in a polo shirt. You might be wondering why. Well, it's pretty simple. I'm covering not 1, but 2 games on YouTube today. First, I'll be doing Highland softball at Brunswick High School when we play the Blue Devils, of course. And then I'll be going back to Highland Stadium to watch the boys lacrosse team take on Solon in a game of, you guessed it, high school boys lacrosse. So let's look at my YouTube channel for a second. I think we should look at my YouTube channel for a second. And we're at 941 subscribers. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Now the goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers in 120 days. That's easier said than done. Almost there. Almost there, but if you could spread the word out, subscribe to WHBW on YouTube. WHBW. It's the home of Highland Athletics, as you might expect, because I am indeed a Highland alum, as you know by now, in Wadsworth. But Wadsworth is a great city. We got so many great shows here on WCTV. Well, I'm pretty sure we all know that by now. But what you also should know by now is that I'm Tommy Maroon, Tommy Maroon Sports Show. Thanking you for watching. I intend to be back next week. I will see you then.
You are watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.